What's up, y'all? Today's birth chart reading is for November 4th, 1989 at 3:38 a.m. in Overland Park, Kansas. And okay, I already have a lot to say about this. Everybody's a Scorpio. Everyone that wants a reading is a Scorpio. That's just so interesting to me. Not everybody, but most of you guys so far. And I just noticed this person has Venus at 28 degrees Sagittarius, which is so crazy because the last chart I just read also had Venus at 28 degrees Sagittarius. So that's just so crazy to me. It was either the last one or the one before that. But so crazy these connections between these charts that I've been reading, the synchronicities. But at any rate, this person has Sun in Scorpio, Moon in Capricorn, and Libra rising. And you have literally all of your planets in only four signs: Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Cancer. And all but two planets are in Scorpio and Capricorn. Very interesting. So, I mean, you can see, almost all your planets are clustered in this one area of the chart, which is very interesting. So, you have, yeah, especially Scorpio and Capricorn, you've got Mars, Mercury, Sun, Pluto, Lilith, all in Scorpio. It's five things right there. And then you've got, Venus in Sagittarius, and then Uranus, Saturn, Neptune, and the Moon, all in Capricorn. Very interesting. And then with Saturn and Neptune conjunct. Okay. Okay, and then Jupiter is off on its own at the very top of the chart in a beautiful place. Jupiter is exalted and it's in your 10th house of career and reputation. And so that would really give you some beautiful energy. You could really move people or have a really beautiful reputation, beautiful career. You would just kind of be gifted in those areas. You'd have good luck there. But let's talk about the kind of substance of your personality. So you have a lot with Scorpio and Capricorn, so I would suggest watching my video on Scorpio Sun, Capricorn Moon, because you should very much relate to that if I did it accurately, because because you have so much of your being in those two signs. So Scorpio and Capricorn are some of the hardest energies to deal with, in my opinion. These are some of the oldest yin signs. They are the oldest yin signs after Pisces, and they deal with very challenging themes, and both of them. So okay, so just going off this alone, off the Scorpio and Capricorn energies, I would think you would have a very difficult upbringing where you had to make stuff happen. You were on your own, to some extent. Even if there are people in your life, they may have not really supported you, or you're. I wouldn't expect your upbringing to be comfy or cozy. It was it was either very structured and disciplined, or there was no structure at all, and no foundation, or maybe some kind of mix of both of those. But it would be very difficult, and it would require you to grow up very quickly. And so that's the silver lining here, that I think you would become very mature very quickly in life. You would be very street smart. You would figure out how stuff works, how life works, how to survive, basically. And you're sort of always in this survival mentality, and it can cause you to be very guarded, especially with your emotions, because you're so used to being self reliant, which is a good thing. It's awesome that you take it upon yourself to make stuff happen. You work very hard. Scorpio and Capricorn together, I would see you as almost like a business owner, or you're someone who works very independently to make stuff happen. I wouldn't see you as getting a lot of handouts in this life, or being super privileged. I would see you as earning everything you get, through hard work, and really making it happen. And Scorpio and Capricorn are known for, they can work away and show up every day and work very hard at, some low level positions, but then very steadily, gradually, but also kind of quickly rise to the top of a company, and, work their way up and get those promotions or what have you, and, accept more responsibility. So it's interesting how gradual their approach is, but also how quick it is. And so you would be very good at that. You're good at working, and especially with Jupiter at the top of your chart like that, you're gifted in career endeavors. So I don't know why my nose is running, but I could see you as being very hold on. Sorry. I could see you as being very, I don't know, very productive or very ambitious or very goal oriented for sure. You're just always wanting to improve things, improve your life. Um okay, and you have Saturn in domicile in Capricorn, Mars in domicile in Scorpio. That's so crazy. The ancient rulers of those signs are in domicile, and you have so much there. So you yourself are very structured, very methodical. You I would almost want to say with all the Scorpio placements you'd be very emotionally intense, but then the Capricorn moon would be grounding for sure. I could see you as being very intense. You very much know your limits, and you know who you are from a very young age. You have an internal confidence. Um, I would say you're very confident, but you're not a fire person. You only have Venus in fire. You don't have a lot of fire in your chart, so it's not that kind of super outgoing confidence. That super sporadic, almost reckless confidence. Yours is a very internal, methodical confidence. It's a very kind of self assured, like like even if you have doubts, others would not sense it. You're very good at looking like you know what you're doing, and most of the time I would say you do know what you're doing because you are so methodical, I guess. Let's see what else. I would see you as being very resilient, very adaptable with all the Scorpio placements. Oh, and then what I was saying was, so generally you'd be very in control at all times, especially of yourself. And so it would take a lot to stress you out. Especially, it would take a lot for you to look stressed, because even if you feel stressed or overwhelmed, you would not show it. You would continue the image of, I have everything in control, I'm fine, which is good. That you could be a good, like a good leader, or a good manager or business owner, or even a politician or something with that type of energy. But at the same time, I think you do have a limit where I think you could be very explosive past a certain point, but it would take you a lot. It would take a lot to get you there. But Scorpio does have that emotional intensity, and Capricorn too. Not a lot of people realize that, but Capricorn, it takes a lot to push them over the edge. But once you push them there, they can be very intense. They can be almost fiery. Mars is exalted in the sign of Capricorn, so Capricorn does have that kind of fiery edge, if you will, even though it's an Earth sign. So generally I would see you as being very cool, calm, and collected, always in control, but you could have like a pretty intense rage about you if you really get pushed over the edge. However, you do have Libra rising, which kind of makes things more easygoing. You like to go with the flow. You don't necessarily initiate with other people. It's interesting because you don't have any air planets at all, and so you might take things very seriously. Things can feel very heavy for you, and yeah, I think that can bring on some stress sometimes. Like you might, like everything can feel so serious, and you have such high standards for yourself. Like you really have extremely high standards for yourself, which is good. It's good to be so productive and get out there and make stuff happen and take it upon yourself to be better every day and make your situation better. But at the same time, I think it can be difficult for you to relax or to enjoy what you've accomplished. That you always want to accomplish more, and sometimes it's good to just relax, not take everything so seriously, just enjoy the fruits of your labor, I guess, as they say. And so, lacking the air element, you may be drawn to other people that have air in their charts, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. But at the same time, it would be hard for you to understand that. I think you would almost be offended or irritated or annoyed by air signs. You might feel like they're inferior just because they don't take things seriously enough. I think that's how you would perceive it. Like are too scattered. You're very focused, which is awesome. You're 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 so focused and so methodical. I really admire that. I think that like you can, I don't know, you like even if there's a very big intimidating project or big goal, you know exactly how to get there in a very methodical way. Um I don't know how to explain it. Like you're just so focused. And I think it's something that just happens intuitively for you. Like it's not like you have to logically figure out, okay, what do I have to do? It's like it's almost like you just know. You just know exactly what to do every day to make these like big goals or big projects happen. So yeah, it is kind of an intense dynamic. I think that could be difficult for you, but it's how you've learned to survive and to thrive in this world. So I would say that's very admirable. It's admirable how self reliant you are. But the self reliance can be difficult when it comes to relationships. It can be hard for you to open up or to trust others, because you're even though you're a Scorpio, I don't see you as being a very codependent person. I see you as being self reliant, very sovereign, and so yeah, so it's hard. It's hard to bring someone into your life really closely, especially in a romantic context. Okay, speaking about romances, so you have Mars in Scorpio, Venus in Sagittarius, which is conjunct the galactic center at 28 degrees, and then you have descendant in Aries. And so, even though you don't have a lot of air or fire energies, you're definitely attracted to fire signs, which could be difficult because they wouldn't blend well with your Scorpio or Capricorn energies. I could see you as being very competitive, and you'd be attracted to other people who are competitive, but you would be attracted to someone who initiates. You wouldn't necessarily, even though you're very much a leader and you lead by example, and you could definitely be like a manager or a leader of some sort. You don't always initiate with people, like socially, or with interactions, and so romantically, you would enjoy someone else to initiate with you first, and you would enjoy someone who's also a leader, also competitive, but someone more fiery, more outgoing, a little bit maybe less strategic or less someone who doesn't think so much before they act. You would think before you'd act. You're very cautious, but you'd be attracted to a person who's not so cautious, who's more just impulsive and spontaneous. Especially Aries, but it could also be Leo or Sagittarius, someone fiery. And then you being having Venus in Sagittarius, you would have a fiery side to your being as well that would especially come out in relationships. You have Mars in Scorpio, so I really don't see you as being aggressive. I would see you as being how do I put this? Mars is in domicile in Scorpio, and so you are a fighter, but you don't initiate fighting. You're not, so you are competitive, but but you won't you would not favor confronting other people. But if other people were to confront you, you are more than capable of defending yourself. You're very instinctive. You have those instincts that you can respond in a very quick way, and defend yourself very quickly. And if you feel cornered, I do feel like you have this like rage about you, or this I don't like really fiery energy that can be unlocked, where you just, I don't want to say you know exactly what to do in those situations, because it's not about knowing, it's just about doing. It's like you don't even, it's instinctual. You don't even think it, you just do it. You just, when confronted, you just defend yourself almost mindlessly, but in a very effective way, if that makes sense. It's that instinct and intuition, and really you have a lot of intuition. I see you as being a very intuitive person. Um, Especially later in life, you'd be very wise with the Scorpio and the Capricorn. I think you could be a little bit critical or a little bit hard on other people, but it comes from a good place, I would say. It comes from a place of, like I think your life has been kind of hard, and you've learned how to survive in those difficult situations. And so I think you have accepted a lot of the hard truths or aspects of reality that maybe other people haven't. And so if you embody that energy, or discuss that energy with others, it could be offensive to other people or come off as critical, but really it's just your approach to, it's what you have to do. It's what really anyone has to do in regards to, surviving and overcoming challenges in our lives, if that makes sense. Okay, but I do like the Libra rising. It kind of lightens things up a little bit. I don't know. I almost think you'd be a good fighter. Like maybe not literally, maybe literally, but Scorpio and Capricorn are excellent fighters, but they're more defense. They're not offensive. And especially with Libra rising, you're not initiating with people, but I would see you as being a formidable foe. It would be very difficult to outmaneuver you or outsmart you, or to try to be competitive with you, because you're very defense. You're very good at defending yourself, and you're good at competing. And again, you have that slow but steady wins the race type of thing. Like you're very instinctual, and you show up every day and put in the work, basically. So that's what makes you so good at whatever you do. Speaking about whatever you do, so you have midheaven in Cancers that really suggests someone who works at home or works in other people's homes. And especially these days, that could really apply to a lot of things. But, I don't know, doing any kind of job from home or in other people's homes. I just read someone's chart recently who had midheaven in Cancer who said she cleaned other people's homes. But it could be anything. But again, I think you would start out at some type of low position and then work your way up. You would want some kind of power and status in society, and you would definitely be able to be able and willing to work for it. And so I don't know. I could see you as I almost picture you as being a business owner of some sort. You would definitely want to be very independent, and or I think you could be okay with working for someone else, but you would want that level of power and autonomy. Power is important to you. Power and that responsibility. I think you could handle a lot of responsibility and power. And again, I think you'd be a good leader. So something with power and authority and leading, but something to do with your home or other people's homes, or building homes, designing homes, working in homes, something of that nature. But again, I just the Jupiter is so beautiful at the top of your chart. I don't know, you're here to do something big, and it has to do with your career. Um, okay, and then Moon is in the fourth house. Okay. Yeah, you're very private with your emotions. I think there's a lot of like secret, or maybe you might not even think of them as secrets, but just there might be a lot of things that you just don't tell anyone, that you'll just take to the grave, that you don't open up about certain things, especially challenges in your life. You deal with the challenge and you move on. I think you would feel, and probably accurately so, that it's easier not to involve people in your problems. It just doesn't benefit you to talk about your issues with other people. You just deal with it on your own and you move on, if that makes sense. Which, yeah, I find admirable. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having different approaches to things, but yeah, I get it for sure. Okay, and then Venus conjunct the galactic center in Sagittarius. That could result in some type of like otherworldly or bizarre, unexplained events involving love or relationships, attraction. It could be how you are attracted to people, how you act when you're being flirtatious or in love, or maybe the type of people that you attract, or maybe someone or multiple people in your lives. Something to do with the romantic area of your life has this element of being supernatural or inexplicable or magical, having to do with like aliens or ghosts or spirits or something. There's some type of trippy energy there, and I don't know exactly what it is, but I don't know. It could have something to do with like your dreams or something, or something unexplainable that I don't know. Hopefully you'll understand what I'm saying. Um, okay, what else? You do have South Node in 11th house Leo, and so you would be very precocious. As a child, you would feel like an adult from even as a child. You'd be very intelligent, very mature for your age, very composed. I don't think you wouldn't be a very childlike child. You, especially with I see in Capricorn, and then Capricorn Moon, Scorpio stellium, South Node in 11th house Leo. Yeah, you would be very mature, but then you could have like emotional outbursts though. You could be a very passionate child. I sort of had it a little bit backwards. I thought South Node was in Aquarius, but it's in Leo. So okay, and you may feel as a child. Mm, I think early on you would be very good at dealing with attention, and um, you'd be very good in the limelight. And again, it's sort of like a chart that I read recently because you're a very private person, but you're also very good at dealing with attention, I would say. Um, yeah, you're good at handling other people. You're good at having a good reputation. You're good at, saying the right things or looking the right way to across the right way, in a professional context or, having to do with your reputation. And that would come from childhood. You would always know kind of how to deal with people, especially in public or with like groups of people. Okay, and then Uranus is conjunct your IC, so your childhood may have been tumultuous. You may have moved a lot as a child, or there have been may have just been multiple very dramatic changes where your whole life changed multiple times as a child. Hopefully, you'll know what that means. Saturn is conjunct Neptune, so you're very when it comes to like spirituality or like world beliefs, you're very I don't know if critical is the right word, but something really has to make sense to you. You're not just gonna go to church just because everyone else does, or you're not just gonna not go to church because everyone else doesn't. You would very much have to think about these types of things. You would be very diligent in how you think about these kind of larger world beliefs. You'd be very, I don't know how to put it into words, scrupulous. Like it would really have to make sense. It has to be grounded in reality. It has to be concrete and provable. And so you might just avoid those types of questions completely because at the end of the day, they're not fully provable. So you either wouldn't really pay attention to beliefs and, larger, philosophical questions like that. Or if you did engage in those types of conversations and beliefs, they would really need to make sense to you, if that makes sense. Like you'd need to see some facts for sure. It would take a lot to get you to believe in something like that. You're definitely not gullible. Hopefully, I'm articulating that accurately or in a way that's able to be understood. Okay, and then also with so much stuff in Scorpio and then Capricorn Moon, you could be a little bit pessimistic. Um, you could be maybe overly serious or um could be kind of down on yourself sometimes. I guess I touched on this earlier, but it might be hard for you, especially early on, to just enjoy yourself and just to appreciate things as they are. Of course, you can always keep working and making things better, but you gotta stop and smell the roses sometimes too. So I think that's something that will come to you, later in life that you might have a hard time with early on, especially. Mm, Lilith in Scorpio. So I would see you as being a very sexual person, but in a way that's very covert. It's not something that you throw around or flash around. I see you as being very monogamously oriented. If you're going to be in a relationship at all, because I see you as being very solitary, but if you are going to be in a relationship, you very want one person to really, you're extremely loyal, and you with you everything's kind of about the future. You're always wanting to invest in things, invest in the future. And so with a relationship, you would want someone that you can really invest in and really trust. um and even then you wouldn't really fully open up to them, but someone really like a rock, as they say, or someone really faithful, really loyal, who's gonna be there for you. And I just forgot what I was saying. Somebody's gonna be there. What chart was I just reading? I just don't. Oh, the Scorpio. Right. So you would be. I do see you as being very sexual and having that kind of freaky, like sexual side to you, but it would be something that you know you would need to know to be very close to someone, and you would just want one person to explore that type of your personality with, if that makes sense. Um, yeah. So I do see you as being highly sexual, but you'd keep that very private, and it would be with one person. You're definitely not like a big slut, if that makes sense. Not slut shaming. I'm just saying you're not. You I wouldn't see you as being promiscuous. So that's what I mean when I say you're sexual. You're not promiscuous, but you do have a highly sexual side to you as well, if that makes sense. Okay, that's kind of a weird note to end on, but I think I read pretty much everything. You do have Sun conjunct Pluto, and so you would have like a magnetism about you. People, it's almost like you're so closed off and so private, but at the same time, people notice you. Like there's something so interesting about your appearance or the vibe that you give off. Um, and it's this weird combination of you're very modest and humble, but at the same time, there is a part of you, you do seem sexy or interesting, or people notice you. They see you as someone who is noticeable, or people might have very strong feelings about you, even when they don't know you very well. They might love or hate you, or they for some reason people just very much notice you and have strong feelings about you. You have some kind of magnetism about you, and you can use it. I think you're meant to be a person with power in your life. I think you have that vibe about you, and you have the ability to work to gain that power. I don't think it would be something that would be inherited. Yeah, so overall, I see someone who is private and guarded, but who has an excellent reputation, who's very much willing to work to get to where they want to be in life. And yeah, I think it's an interesting reading. Oh, one last thing. So all your planets are direct except for Jupiter, which is really interesting. Jupiter is such an outcast in your chart. And then last thing. So Venus is the chart ruler, but it's the only planet in fire, which is also interesting. So it's almost like I feel like your life is very challenging and you have to work very hard for what you earn, but there is this beauty to it. There's this almost magical side to it as well. Like you do have to work very hard. Sorry about the background noise. You do have to work very hard in this life, but I think once you do and you put in the work, especially the early part of your life is going to be extremely challenging, but once you get through that, and I think you already have, like, based on your age, I guess, but once you kind of get through those early stages in your life, then you'll really start to enjoy that success that you've created. And then I think that's where you can enjoy this, like, almost magical side to your life. I don't even know how to put that into words, but there's something, I don't want to say light at the end of the tunnel. I guess that would work. Or silver lining. It's like this dark storm cloud, but then there is like a beautiful silver lining, if that makes sense. There's this really beautiful, harmonious aspect of your life too. You just have to work for it, I guess. So hopefully that resonated for you. Let me know. I always like hearing feedback. Let me know what resonated or what didn't. And thank you for the request. And thanks for watching. I'll see you later.